Good afternoon, executives of the gaming industry. Thank you very much for being there on the other side of the screen, joining us for this conversation, this personal, professional conversation with leaders of the gaming industry. This is a section that we have called G&M One-on-One. Today, we have the privilege, the honor to have a special guest. We are with Korbi Carrison, the event director of Global Gaming Expo, the show that we will be joining in a couple of weeks in person finally. And we have the privilege to be with her today. Thank you very much, Korbi, for being here, for sharing your time with us.
Thank you, Roman. I'm so pleased to be able to chat with you today.
And as you may know, Korbi, and all of you have watched these videos. We have launched these videos in April 2020, so you may know the dynamics. This is like a life journey. We want to talk about the past of the executive, we want to talk about the present, and we want to anticipate the future, about trends, about their personal goals. So let's start about talking about your upbringing, Korbi. Let's talk about your hometown in Minnesota. Let's talk about how was your upbringing, how did your parents raise you, and which values they share with you. Can you share with those upbringings and those starts of your life with us?
Yes, so like you mentioned, I was born and raised in Minnesota in a small town called Sauk Rapids, and it was a very tight-knit community where my family lived down the street from my grandparents and my other grandparents, and family meant a lot to all of us, the interaction. A lot of the kind of mentality was be with your family, work hard, play hard, have good, positive Midwestern values, as they say. I think that there's kind of a thought that people that were born and raised in the Midwest of the United States have a strong work ethic. And I think that my background is no different than that. Like I mentioned, with my parents and my brother and my sister growing up, we spent a lot of time together. Minnesota is a great place to be in the summer. It's not my favorite place to be in the winter, but we did our fair share of playing outside and working hard together, all as a part of that. I looked to my dad actually as a role model growing up a lot because he was in business. My mother had a career as well. She was not as much in the business realm as my dad was before he retired, but I learned a lot from him, just from him coming home and sharing his experiences. And I think that's where I decided that I wanted to be a business professional. And I looked to him a lot in his experience and thought, these are some things that I think I can grow as a career as well. And I can find excitement and fulfillment in helping a business to grow and expand and to flourish and thrive.
And you know, Korbi, when you grow up and you start thinking about having a family of your own, you say, well, I will transmit these values with my own kids today or in the future. And now, well, you are married, you have two beautiful children, you have a dog, you have lots of occupations and hobbies besides gaming. So how do you transmit those values to your kids? How do you try to combine the time you dedicate for your family to the time you dedicate for the business? How do you manage that?
It's really kind of different from when I grew up. I travel for business a lot more than my parents ever did. So I find myself away from my children more than my parents were away from me growing up. So the wonderful thing is my husband is my greatest partner in life, and he is a wonderful father, and he picks up all of the family things when I'm gone. But when I'm home and when we're together, we really try to be together, even with teenage children who sometimes have their own things that they want to be doing. We make a point of being together. We have dinner together every night when we're home. And we try to do activities together and try to weave in a little of that work hard, play hard kind of mentality where, yeah, there are times that together we need to do things to move our lives forward that are a little more considered possibly work, but on the other side of it, we can enjoy some time together and spend time, whether it's outdoors or together, eating out or traveling together. It's a different twist on that work hard and play hard mentality. And again, I hope that my children see me and what I do and understand that you can do both. You can have a career and you can balance that with family, but also take some of those work ethic kind of values and other things. It's been really interesting during this time where we work from home, and my children were going to school from home for quite a long while. And for the first time, they really heard me every day when I was in my home office, having the phone calls about G2E and talking with people that I consider friends, and they're also my business associates. And sometimes we talk about those things, and we talk about how you interact with people and why and what you offer in a relationship with someone as a business associate, and how that, for me, that's what makes doing business really fun and rewarding, is to create those partnerships and that turn into friendships. And I hope that my children see that and take that as they decide to, whatever they decide to do in their adult life.
And speaking about the business side of your life, Korbi, you have a fantastic career, really great career, more than 20 years in the industry. So can you share about your starting in the gaming industry, and how did you develop your fantastic career over the years, and what were the main learnings you had, and the main contributions you think you have made to the industry in that time?
Well, certainly when I moved to Las Vegas, it was for personal reasons and not so much for business reasons. And when I came to the city, I wasn't really interested in working in the gaming industry, because to me that meant working in a casino, and I didn't have any exposure to what that would be like. So I didn't really explore that as a possibility. But then I realized that there's a whole different world of people who serve that industry as vendors to the industry. And it's for me, that's a pretty exciting sector to be in. It allowed me to enjoy the excitement of the industry and to really be a part of bringing that entertainment option to some people who so passionately love it. But I still was able to be home on the nights and weekends. And it also allowed me the opportunity to travel the world and get to know people all over the world, which I really loved. So for me, that's been an absolute dream.
And then in 2019, you decided to go a step further, to go to a global company like Reed Exhibitions USA, a really great company organizing shows everywhere. And how much that your life changed with that decision, in terms of starting with this great company, starting to take care of a great brand like Global Gaming Expo, and what meant to you, and what did you learn in these 3 years? I mean, you had to organize in-person shows in 2019 and 2019. We were in 2019 event, as you may know. We launched our company in that show, because we launched the company in July 2019. I mean, we have been in the show before, but working to other companies. But when we launched our own company, G&M News, our first show was Global Gaming Expo in Las Vegas in 2019, and we had a great reception. It was a fantastic show. It was a great show, really, and we were really glad. And we are now we have to wait 2 years again to go back there. So can you share your experience in this company?
I'd love to. When I came to work for Reed Exhibitions and to work on the G2E brand, it was never something that I would have thought was possible, because I can go back all the way to 2001, the very first G2E, and I was working in the gaming industry. I was working as a supplier to the casino operators, and I participated in the very first G2E. And it was a surreal and wonderful experience bringing the industry together. And on every year, I had the ability to participate in G2E in different ways. And through those different ways, I gained a lot of experience that I did not know later would prepare me to take on this role of running the G2E show for Reed Exhibitions. So along the way, I learned a lot about marketing. I worked in that capacity. I learned how the sales process works. I learned about how to organize an education program in one job that I worked at, and another job afforded me the opportunity to learn a lot about operations. So I had no idea that somewhere along the line, there would be an opportunity to put all of those things together. And it was on G2E. It was on the brand that is known all over the world and is loved by people all over the world, and something that represents for them doing great business with a community of people that are connected and that have deep relationships. There are a lot of deep friendships all over this industry. People come to work in gaming, and a lot of times they stay for a long time. So for me, it was really exciting to be a part of that. And along the way, also something that I hope I've made a good contribution to Reed Exhibitions is sharing my experience as an exhibitor, but also developing a really great relationship with our partner, the American Gaming Association. I knew, of course, that Reed Exhibitions and AGA co-owned G2E, but along the way, I came to realize what wonderful people we had in partnership at AGA, and they have great goals to further lots of initiatives for the gaming industry, which was really exciting for me. So that was really neat, and I look forward to a lot of different things that we do together to continue to build on the G2E brand. We also have great partners in AGEM, who is Association of Gaming Equipment Manufacturers, and those are many of our exhibitors at G2E.
Yes.
It's a wonderful partnership with them to have open communication so they can help us understand on a daily basis, even sometimes, what's happening with their membership and what's important to them, how we can make G2E an event that serves them the best that it possibly can. And ultimately, the mission for G2E is to bring the best possible show to our attendees. So what a great opportunity I have. What an exciting job I have every day to be able to work on this great brand and to imagine what it can become in the future.
Yes, and quite a responsibility, because this is a community. It's a big community and a small community in the same way, So thinking about the future, I think about when we are going to meet in a couple of weeks. Of course, we will discuss in depth about the show in an interview that we will publish in a week. But today we can speak about the show in terms of what are your expectations for the show, in terms of all we have passed through these 2 years, all the challenges. I mean, we know that it has been really hard, but you have managed, and you and your team have managed to prepare this show. So what are you expecting for the show to become?
Well, you're right. Our team has managed through a lot of different challenges, and we're imagining right now what we can expect for the show. But what I really can tell you is that everyone that I talk to is really looking forward to reconnecting with their peers in the industry. And whether that's through an education session or hearing what on the keynote stage, the state of the industry, or some of the other fantastic lineups that we have to discuss what's going on in the industry, it's really about connecting. And then going on that expo hall floor where the innovations are just amazing. I've been sitting in on a lot of the PR calls, and what I'm hearing from the exhibitors in terms of new product that they're bringing, they're things that being in the industry over 20 years, I never would have imagined. And they're really going to be something interesting to see. So while we know that G2E won't look exactly the same as it did in 2019, certainly there are people who won't be able to attend, and offering a virtual option for them to be able to participate. But what we're seeing in trends of registration are that the people that are coming are business leaders, and they're people who are coming to make deals or to have those deep business discussions. So we're expecting a lot of reconnection. We're expecting a lot of excitement on the Expo Hall floor. And we're just expecting a lot of true business to be done and deep connections.
And I think it will be a great show, a special show, a show that we will remember in the future because of these challenges we had, because of the opportunity to be together again, to be in person again. I think this will be really special. And speaking about special, and thinking about how the industry has changed and has opened and their mind in the last 10 years. I mean, you're a really powerful woman. You're a really powerful executive. You are an example for other women that are starting in the gaming industry or are wanting to start in the industry as well. You are also part of the Global Gaming Expo, a Global Gaming Women organization. Is that right?
That is, yes, that's correct.
So in that sense, and speaking about how the industry and the society has opened to the possibility of listening more to the women, listening more to diversity, listening more to inclusion, and being able to change their minds, to change all traditions, and trying to learn from that past to not commit the same mistakes again, and to open to the opportunities to listen and to learn from women and from diverse people in general. You know, what do you think about this change on the last 4 or 5 years? What do you think about trying to share your ideas with young women executives? What do you think you can teach them in terms of your experience?
Well, certainly there is a great opportunity for women to come together and to lean on each other in a mentorship manner. We have, our industry is made up about half of women. So I think that there's a good baseline of people who are interested in growing a career in gaming, women who are interested in growing their career. Now at the C level, maybe not as equal with men and women balanced, but I think we'll be seeing change in that. So back to your question about what opportunities are there in the future, I think that bringing women together with organizations such as Global Gaming Women and opening up the conversations and leaning on each other, sharing each other's experiences, I think that's a wonderful way to share, to inspire women, and certainly to support each other. That's what I think is one very important thing, because it's not easy for anyone in business, but certainly women maybe in some cases have different challenges than others. And I like also that our industry is becoming more diverse, not just in a male-female sort of way, but bringing people with all different backgrounds to the table. And for me, that's something that I get a lot of pleasure out of, making friends with people, different backgrounds than me. I learn a lot from people. I like to share my ideas, and they have across the board, everybody has a different thought because of their background. So I really welcome that. And I think that the industry is really embracing that as well right now.
Okay, and let's focus on the United States scene in terms of gaming. I mean, every day the industry is changing and evolving in the States, in every state, because it's like a state-by-state policy in terms of, I mean, sports betting, iGaming, casino online, artificial intelligence, fantasy sports, I mean, virtual gaming. I mean, there are lots of opportunities open in each state to develop. So in that sense, how do you think the industry is going to change in the next 5 years? How this omni-channel focus will drive the future of gaming in the United States?
Well, I think this is an example of how a pandemic ignites change. and is a real catalyst to change, because of course the laws with sports betting changed long before the pandemic, but there's been an absolute great acceptance of sports betting during this time. And along with that, because for a little while there were no sports, and for a little while the casinos were closed, there was a spotlight shined on iGaming that we hadn't seen before. So in the area of iGaming, there was a lot of great technology already in development, and maybe the pandemic created that spark that here's the opportunity for the United States to think about this again, and to embrace as a method of entertainment for people, but also it's a way for the states to regain some of that tax revenue that perhaps they had lost during pandemic times. And I think that the pandemic really brought to light what the potential of iGaming was. Same thing with payments, different payment methods. Certainly during pandemic times, when people are on their devices more, and as entertainment options shift, there are expectations when people visit a casino. They have different expectations to be able to have a seamless and frictionless experience when they patronize a casino. They want to be able to use the same payment methods that they use getting a cup of coffee or going to the movies, or whatever it is that somebody's chosen method of entertainment might be. And I think that that's really accelerated the modernization of payment technologies in the industry.
And the last question, Korbi, and thank you very much for your time again. We know that the gaming industry is very connected with tourism. Tourism industry has suffered a lot over the last 2 years, and we hope it will recover in the next 2 or 3 years again. The last question is focused on that, and it's focused on your experience, your life experience in terms of traveling. I'm aware that you have probably traveled around the world because of the industry and as a tourist as well. So expecting that the tourism industry can grow in the future because of the different countries allow people to visit those countries in that way. Which cities of the United States would you recommend? Not only Vegas, but when you say Vegas, well, of course, everyone wants to know Vegas, but in terms of your personal experience, which cities would you recommend of the United States for an executive of the gaming industry that has some time after the show to visit, maybe in terms of the landscapes or the gastronomy or the culture of that city? Which places would you recommend for an executive to visit?
Well, it's good that you took Las Vegas out of the equation, because of course that was my number one. And when you say gastronomy, that's a big one for me. I like to chase the food. So for somebody who's coming to G2E, it's a really easy trip, especially to Southern California. It's a quick flight. It's an easy drive. There are so many really amazing tribal casinos to visit in Southern California, Central and Northern California as well. But just my proximity, I happen to go to Southern California a little bit more. I love visiting the casinos to see what people have on the casino floors, but to experience the food too. And the proximity to the beach is kind of nice, I have to say. I enjoy California a lot. But I also really enjoy Washington, D.C. I just love the thought that this is where my country's laws are formed. This is where the business of the country happens. And by the way, a lot of great restaurants in DC, and not to mention my friends at the AGA that are there as well. So I do have the opportunity to visit there frequently, and I enjoy the city very much. But there are other cities too that I've had the opportunity to work in my career and visit as well. And Austin comes to mind, Chicago comes to mind, and really wonderful people there, and also a pretty good food scene, both those cities too.
So Korbi Carrison, event director of Global Gaming Expo, thank you very much. All the G&M News team wants to thank you, and Real Exhibitions as well, for joining us in this space. Thank you very much for sharing your life, sharing your work, sharing your ideas with us, and with all the executives that are on the other side of the screen. Thank you, Korbi.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and hope to see you in person soon.
Yes, we will be there. Of course, we'll be covering the show. We will be informing about the show live. And thank you, executives of the gaming industry. Thank you for being there, for watching our videos, for reading our articles, for sharing all of what we have been doing since July 2019. Thank you for being there. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel as well, and you will be aware of all the information we produce. And hopefully we'll be watching more videos we will be producing in the coming weeks. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Okay, thank you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.